welcome everyone to another episode of the Intellectual Saviors of Wrestling with your hosts, the Master of the Brain Damage,
Martin,
and the one and only Sam H. And this is Raw Review from the 10th of October, continuing to their next pay-per-view, Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, and we opened up the night with the new Raw Women's Champion, Sasha Banks.
Yeah, this is the basic after title win promo, thanking everyone.
Yep, yada yada yada, seen it 1,000 times. And then inevitably, she got interrupted by Charlotte.
Yeah.
And then Sasha laid down a challenge to Charlotte. She wants a rematch against her at Hell in a Cell, in a Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
If it all gets approved by the authorities of Raw, it will be the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, it's an interesting one.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder exactly how much they'll let them get away with inside Hell in a Cell.
Obviously it's a very physically grueling match. You only need to ask Mick for that one.
But of course it didn't end there because we were interrupted by Lana.
Yeah. And then she just started bitching and moaning and so I was saying about how nobody cares. And then Rusev come out for some unknown reason and he looked friggin' weird.
Yeah, first thing I noticed was that his mustache is gone.
Yeah, he's shaved off the goatee and he's now growing some facial hair on his cheeks.
Yeah, it looked weird.
Yeah, so, and then, of course, inevitably, yada yada, a few insults backwards and forwards. Rusev saying about no one cares about women's wrestling and all this. Yeah, bold move, Rusev.
Yeah, that's clever.
And then, of course, inevitably, this brought out Roman Reigns.
To his usual chorus of boos.
Yeah. And then, I think after a segment or so backstage, it was then determined we'd have a mixed tag team match later on that night between the four people.
Yeah, the whole challengers versus champions thing, which they have done on occasion. It's just a way of tossing everyone into one match.
Yes, and then I think as well, possibly then, we also got confirmed that... Oh, no, I'm going to say that for later on in the show, actually. No, I'm going to tease you.
Oh, no.
So, then we had a random match up next. We had a singles match between, unfortunately, the competitors in the tag team match for the titles at Hell in a Cell. We had Kofi Kingston facing off against Cesaro.
Yeah, one thing I noticed was Big E was tossing bootios from his singlet.
Yeah.
I was like, ew, who'd want them? Sweatios? What? Gross.
So yeah, this was a okay match. I don't know about you, but I'm still trying to figure out where they're going with this whole Sheamus and Cesaro thing, because they're still bickering and arguing even more than last week.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-win situation because New Day don't get anything from beating them, and well, no one wants to see Cesaro and Sheamus as tag champions.
No, exactly. So in the end, Kofi ended up picking up the victory.
Yeah, with a roll-up.
Yeah.
I mean, Sheamus was fighting the other two outside of the ring.
Yeah. And then I think, if I remember, it just ended with obviously the New Day going off and Cesaro and Sheamus arguing some more.
Yeah, there was a bit of pushing and shoving, and Sheamus just up and left and went, yeah, you're a loser. I'm out.
Yeah, so, yeah, great.
Another great segment.
So, and then moving on to our next match, we had the Wacky Waving Inflatable Arm Flailing Two Men here. We had Bayley in singles competition against Cammy Fields.
I've never heard of her.
Essentially, it was a crush match. I think it lasted a couple of minutes, if that.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I'm not sure what they get out of it.
So
If they were gonna do this to Bailey, they should have just left her in NXT.
yeah. So yeah, and then after the match when Bailey was celebrating because we were in her hometown of
Oh.
San Diego.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then she was celebrating and the wacky waving and flailing two men came up again. Dana then appeared and made the sneak attack to ruin her homecoming.
Oh, I fear this is gonna lead to a match that I'm not really very interested in.
No. And talking of matches we're not really interested in.
Oh, great! Here we go.
We had the first, I believe, cruiserweight match of the night. We had Tony Nese and Drew Gulak teaming up against Lince Dorado and an unannounced tag team partner. Now, you're never going to get it. You're never going to get it who he tagged up with. He tagged up with none other than Sin Cara.
Yeah, apparently Sin Cara has now joined the cruiserweight division.
Yeah. And I did wonder this because my wife made up the good point. Wouldn't he be, wouldn't he weigh too much to be classed as cruiserweight because there is a 205-pound limit?
Yeah, I thought that myself.
And as luck would have it, as the match was going on, I looked it up on Wikipedia. Not necessarily the most reliable of resources, but according to Wikipedia, he's dead on 205 pounds.
Okay, yeah.
So
Fair enough.
yeah. So yeah, again the match was okay. No one wasn't really too interested in it because they've been a bit lackluster with the cruiserweight division so far with their restrictions on who they can use because some of the people they've signed up still got independent commitments. Not to mention some of them are on being wasted on fucking NXT.
True.
Yes, I'm talking about Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Wrestling. Get them on Raw already. They'll show up 3/4 of the roster.
They've still got unfinished business with the worst tag team in NXT history.
Oh, God, I'll get started on them.
The
Rip off Anderson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose we should tell you won the tag match.
Might as well.
Sin Cara and Lince Dorado.
So it's essentially another version of the Lucha Dragons then.
Pretty much. Yeah. And then we had Enzo and Big Cass.
Oh, that's good.
Come out, make an entrance. And then they started talking to the crowd. Then all of a sudden, Gallows and Anderson made an appearance and started putting the beat down on them.
Yeah. And don't worry, because we did see the Boot of Doom.
Yeah. Poor Big Cassie ate that boot of doom. And then he got hit with the magic killer. Because originally, Enzo and Cass were meant to be fighting the Golden Truth.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do remember that.
But Gallows and Anderson had other ideas, and we thank them for that.
Yes.
We don't want to see it. The Golden Truth versus Enzo and Big Cass.
They're cleaning up the tag team division.
Yeah. Improving their skills in the workplace. Yes, and then, oh, jeez. We've got yet another pointless put together tag team match.
Oh, good.
For some unknown reason, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel are friends again.
Yeah.
And they're going to prove that they're the better people at the social outcast.
Not exactly difficult.
No. And then we thought, right, they're going to be teaming against. And then we saw Sami Zayn, and I thought, sorry, oh God, is this the best they can come up with for Sami Zayn? And then I thought, right, Who's his tag partner going to be?
I guessed this one. I said, and off the comment, I just went, okay, yeah, it's probably going to be Neville.
Lo and behold, it was Neville.
They did this whole thing at SummerSlam, teaming these two up.
Now, again, the match didn't particularly go on for very long, and it wasn't particularly very great either, but Curtis Axel took most of the beatdown. Bo Dallas didn't seem too interested in. In fact, he watched Curtis Axel get pinned because Sammy hit him with the haluva kick, and then he got hit with a red arrow more or less straight away.
Yeah, and Bo just, well, he watched and then he buggered off.
Yeah, and reminded us that for some unknown reason we've got to believe in Bo.
Not going to happen.
You suck. Your brother's about 10 times the wrestler you ever will be.
Yeah, it's clear who got the talent in the Rotunda family. It wasn't Bo.
No. Ah, jeez. And talking of pointless matches, here we go yet again. Has to be said, this Raw was such a struggle to watch.
Yeah, I struggled with this one.
Right, let's get at this out of the way very quickly. We had R-Truth against Titus O'Neil.
Okay.
Titus O'Neil didn't even get an entrance. He got a jobber's entrance.
That's good.
And R-Truth, we got his entrance when they were already in the ring.
Oh.
But they just done their little rap for it. And R-Truth won.
What?
Yep. Don't know how or why, but R-Truth picked up the victory.
Okay, yeah, so the Titus brand keeps on getting better. That's 2 losses in a row.
So yeah. And then, jeez, keeps on getting better. We had Braun Strowman
Oh, God.
in his next match. Now, you'll remember he told Mick Foley last week he's got to give him a proper challenge or there's going to be issues. And Braun was facing off against the Splash Brothers.
Oh, man.
Needless to say, it was a joke of a match and it lasted about 3 minutes, if that. One of the Splash Brothers got hit with the running power slam, and the other one got reverse choke slammed onto the other one.
Yeah, and he just pinned both of them.
And then he just went on a massive rant again and said, Foley, I'm being serious now. You give me a proper challenge or there's going to be problems.
I'm still expecting it to be either Big Show or Mark Henry. One of the two.
Yeah, more than likely. Yes. And then we had our mixed tag team match between Roman Reigns, Sasha Banks, and Charlotte and Rusev.
Yeah, there was a little backstage segment with Charlotte and Lana exchanging insults.
Yeah, and Lana said, "Oh, I'm not the jealous type, but you got to stay the way out of my man. He's mine." I don't think she'd even want him, even if he was the last man on earth.
Probably not. She's already been divorced twice.
So yeah, the match was decent. I think at times it seemed to be a bit too heavily pushed on Roman and Rusev, but I suppose all 4 of them got their spots. So yeah, and then in predictable fashion, Sasha Banks and Roman picked up the victory.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure didn't Charlotte tap out again?
Yes, I believe she did. To the bank statement.
That's 2 weeks in a row. You got to start reversing this momentum now, otherwise it's going to look a bit one-sided going into that Hell in a Cell match.
Just a tad. So yeah, and then moving on, we had the return of a very familiar face.
Oh.
Who was We had an answer for a certain someone who was on the coach's show last week. It was none other than the advocate for the beast, Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you haven't guessed already, Paul was out to answer some questions to a few remarks that Bill Goldberg had made on the coach's show last week when he was there promoting 2K17.
Yeah. And he was asking him if he was ever going to step foot in WWE again.
And he seemed open to the idea. And then a few names were chucked out there, and Goldberg sort of like basically hinted out he didn't need to fight Brock Lesnar. There was nothing he needed to prove.
No, he already beat him.
Yeah, some would argue it was one of their worst matches of their careers, though.
It's one of the worst matches I'd ever seen.
It was awful. If you ever get a chance, don't watch it.
Oh man.
They just run around the ring for the first 5 minutes, just staring one another up.
I mean, the one thing you're going to notice is the crowd boos both of them.
Yeah.
Do we really need to see this match again? Really?
Probably not, but we gotta give Brock something to keep him around for.
Yeah, but beating 49-year-old Goldberg, who isn't in his prime,
Yeah.
is it much of an achievement?
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, long story short with this one, Brock Lesnar's challenged Bill Goldberg to a match. And then later on that night, Goldberg put on his Twitter account, he's booked his flights for Raw next week, and he'll have an answer for Lesnar then.
Oh dear.
Yes.
It's been 12 years. Let it go, guys. Everybody else has.
Yes. Then we had a random brief segment backstage between TJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick. TJ was trying to highlight what has happened to Brian recently. He's not the guy he remembers going through the indies with and whatnot. And then they sort of morally shook hands. And then Brian went to go for a cheap shot punch, and TJ got there first.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to enjoy this next one.
And then we had TJ Perkins in action against a relative of someone who you may well remember. He was part of a highly controversial character.
Oh.
He was facing off against Araya Davari.
Davari? Oh, God.
Yeah, he was fighting Davari's younger brother.
Yeah, and they must have in some wardrobe trouble, or Davari must have an old locker, because it just looked like they pulled out Davari's old costume and given it to his younger brother.
Pretty much, man.
There was the same costume, the same motions.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then, so much to your shock, TJ Perkins picked up the victory.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
This was not a long match at all. And Davari quickly tapped out to the mega TJ clutch.
Mm. Yeah, and then we did have a segment with Stephanie and Mick in the ring. Mick sporting a very fancy suit, shall we say.
Yeah.
They were confirming a few matches that would be happening at Hell in a Cell, including the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match.
Yep.
And then, of course, they were greeted by a couple of guests who weren't particularly impressed by these announcements.
A couple of haters.
They were joined by Jericho. And don't you worry, everyone. Chris Jericho had the list of Jericho.
Oh dear.
and Mick Foley got added to it again.
Okay. Yeah, so was it even possible for him to be on the list? He was the one that started the list.
Yeah. He kindly reminded Chris of this. Although, admittedly, I think Enzo's on the list twice. Xavier Woods is on the list twice.
Yeah, and he wasn't happy about it.
No, he was not. So, yeah. And then Stephanie hinted at, why don't we have Chris Jericho versus... Well, no, the match was already happening. Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins. Why don't we make it a bit entertaining? Jericho wins. He's in the title match at Hell in a Cell.
Has there ever been a triple threat Hell in a Cell? I
I
don't think there has been.
I don't recall one, no. So yeah, that would be our main event for the night. And then just before the match happened, we had a funny segment backstage where Chris was there with his list, of course, and he bumped into Stephanie. Stephanie wanted to wish him luck for his match against Seth, and she'd be rooting for him. Then Chris said, I've got to admit to you, I nearly put you on the list earlier. And then she wanted to have a look at this, and Chris was like, no, that's fine. You're not on the list. You're not on the list. It's
She's
all
blatantly on the list.
yeah. So yeah, and that led us to our main event: Chris Jericho versus Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I don't enjoy Seth Rollins' entrance nowhere near as much I used to. The camera slowly moving around the W.
Yeah, I missed that. They changed the whole stage thing.
So yeah, this was a good fast-paced match. Thoroughly enjoyed this match. Of course, it wasn't ever going to be just between the two of them.
No, there was interference.
Yeah, after a while, Chris Jericho's best friend came out. Your Universal Champion, Kevin Owens. Tried his best to chuck a few distractions in there. But, unfortunately for Chris, we're not going to be getting a triple threat Hell in a Cell match.
Damn it.
Yeah, Seth ended up picking up the victory.
With the pedigree.
Yeah. It's all starting to beg the question, when's Triple H actually going to turn back up on television and they're going to do the whole Seth Triple H thing?
Yeah, it needs to be soon because they need to do some explaining on this because I'm still unsure who's the heel and who's the face.
Yeah. And not only that, how many title matches have we had in recent history involving Seth Rollins?
At least 3.
And he's lost all of them, except for one, when he had it for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, the whole Money in the Bank thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they need to do something soon. At least have Triple H turn up.
Yeah.
Give us some sort of explanation at least.
That would be very helpful.
If it's just 10 minutes, I mean, we know he's around.
He's doing NXT all the time. So yeah, and I think that about wraps it up.
Yep, that was the end of Raw.
Yeah.
So, from your hosts, the Master of the Brain Damage,
I've been Martin.
and the one and only Sam H, we will see you on the next one. See you later.